Can you please tell us about Vikramaditya's empire, the legendary king Vikramaditya? So, what we know about Vikramaditya comes from the era that is named after him, first of all, the Vikram Samvat era. I think it dates back to 57 or 27 BC or thereabouts. I think 57 BC, 56 or 57 BC. So that is the reign, that is the year that the Vikram Samvat era starts. It is the year in which this great king is said to have repulsed an invasion by the Scythians into India, the Shakas. So this era was started to commemorate his victory over the invading Scythians. Now, we know very little about this great king. The only thing we know is that we have an entire era named after him, which is an honor that is given to very few people. So we have an entire era named after him. We have many future kings, subsequent kings, who took the name Vikramaditya in honor of this great original Vikramaditya. And yet our historians in India, they say that Vikramaditya was a mythical king. He's a myth, he's a legend, he's not reality. Now, I want you to understand this very well. When an Indian historian, especially a bunch of Indian historians, say that something is a myth, it means that they are trying to hide something very important and very valuable. So, as of now, we don't have much evidence of Vikramaditya, the great king of Ujjain. He is believed to have conquered a very large kingdom. It is all regarded as myths. It is all portrayed as myth by India's historians and in India's history textbooks, which most likely don't even mention him. But he was, in my opinion, a very great king of India, one of the greatest kings of the past 2-3 thousand years. So that's all we know about him as of now. We know that he was king in Ujjain. Ujjain, the great ancient city, was his capital. So that's what we know about him. I would say that we need to do more research into this great personality, because there are so many incredible stories about this man. They can't, if there are so many stories about some person, so many ancient memories that have been passed on from generation to generation to generation, it means that there is a great deal of truth to it. Because after, like I said, our universities were destroyed and libraries burned, the only means of passing down information for our ancestors was to pass it down orally. So they faithfully, dutifully passed down all these things that they had learned to their children and to their descendants, generation after generation, in an oral manner. So these are very important stories. We should not trivialize them as myths. These are our ancient oral stories, our oral histories, and we need to take them extremely seriously, and we need to look into the actual facts behind them. And the way to do it is to look into archaeology and other means. So I think that Vikramaditya was definitely a real king and one of the greatest kings of India. And I would like to wait for more data and information about him as and when it becomes available.